Welcome to the drug factory. I wonder how many times I'll get to say that in my life. This level has my favorite music in the game, or maybe my second favorite. It's close though. They're not even trying to hide the security rooms anymore. This one is just right next to the start, right here. So you might notice we're wearing the riot armor, which means we have a full extra health bar, which is insanely useful. It also means we're done looking for drugs because we've officially bought everything I would want to buy in the game. Our pistol is fully upgraded, our shotgun is fully upgraded, and we have the fully upgraded body armor. There's nothing else to get. Oh, you might have noticed I started this level with the sniper rifle before this video started, but I went back out and changed that because that was a mistake. It was not worth it. I believe this is the level where I try to show you that shots to the nuts are just as deadly as shots to the face. The hit detection is very precise, but you can one-shot criminals by shooting them right in the nuts. And I think that's neat. Because nobody probably ever noticed that besides me. It turns out we can't fall in the water, by the way. I have found that out. The layout of this place is back to corridors, more or less, but that's not I'm stuck on something. But that's not a bad thing. It works well for this game's design. And there are some unique pieces of architecture in here. I mean, all the architecture is unique, but there's some unique level design, I mean. I like the graffiti that is just a gorilla. You see it more than once. So here's one of the unique pieces of level design I was talking about. There's this fucker doing a drive-by on a speedboat. A really slow drive-by. And you can kill him, but there's a reason we don't want to. Fun fact, he doesn't loop back around, even though this place is a square and he could loop back around in reality. He just goes off the map entirely after you no longer see him. And if you pull up your map and look at the enemy locations, you'll see that he's gone. Oh, we're sliding again. So the sniper rifle is basically the pistol, but obviously stronger, and you can zoom in. The downside to this is that there's no ammo for the for the sniper rifle anywhere, because no enemies in this game use the sniper rifle. I mean, it may be obnoxious that there's a lack of ammo, but it would be even more obnoxious if enemies did have a sniper rifle, because then they could kill you in one shot, and that's terrible. So I'm thankful for that. There's a lot of places to take cover in this room, but they're all spread pretty far apart. Thankfully, our pistol is so high-powered that we don't need to get very close at all. As you just saw. Didn't need to get very close at all there. Now, obviously there's something in the back of the truck. I mean, that's just a given. I like the fact that some cardboard boxes are destructible, but most are not. I mean, you figure bullets would pierce through cardboard boxes. Even if the things in the cardboard boxes are bulletproof, you know, you would figure the cardboard itself would break. So, do we really need all those drugs sitting around in our depository right now? Shouldn't we go turn those... I mean, we are the police. Where do we put them after we turn them into ourselves? I mean, previously we were selling them to get new guns, and oh man, that was brutal. Fun fact, that is the only man in this area right here. That poor sucker who just sits there and doesn't see us coming no matter how loud we are. So this room's pretty cool. There are enemies in front of us and to the right, and there's a lot of explosives, so we want to take those out first. Because the enemies will shoot those, and we will get blown up instead of them. After that, we take cover behind here and shoot into the window. Please remember in this room to always shoot the explosives first. I mean, honestly, with the abundance of health pickups we have, we could just run in there with a shotgun and things would be fine. But this is a cover-based shooter, so we're taking cover. I'm not trying to make fun of the game because I played it the way it was intended to be played. The thing about games with collectibles is that if they're used right, getting the collectibles will make the game a lot easier for the player in the long run, so that way the effort is worth it. And this game does that very well. This is where all the drugs are kept, so we need to blow them up. Now, in this specific spot, all the enemies will eventually run right over the counter and stand up, so we get a clear shot at their head. You know, just take cover behind the first thing in the room and all the enemies will run up to you like idiots. Usually there's not an exploit like this, but in this case there is, because the enemies are just too stupid to get behind the counter. Whatever. You might have had the misfortune of trying to blow up the thugs with the meth. That's a bad idea. The explosion is not as devastating as it looks. So it's better just to use the exploit I pointed out and stick with that. Alright, well, all the meth labs are gone. We won. We defeated the meth lords. But you know, there's been 3 levels in Meth World. This being the 3rd one, of course. But that means we're due a boat section. And we are in a place with a lot of boats, so that's gonna happen, even if you really don't want it to. I guess the boat sections aren't that bad, but there's a reason I cut out the first one entirely and replaced it with gibberish. Hey look, it's my favorite room in the game. There's a catwalk up there where enemies have a huge vantage point over us, and we have to pay attention to the enemies here on the ground and the enemies up there on the catwalk. Unfortunately, we shot the guy that was on the ground in the back of the head because he was just standing there like a dumbass. I say this is my favorite room, but the next room counts as part of this room, I think. I think they count as the same room. But yeah, the boat sections are there to break up the shooting, but the shooting didn't really need broken up, I think. The shooting is more than enough to carry the whole game. So, this room's pretty easy. The first piece of cover they give you is perfect, and there's no reason to ever move from it. At least until everyone's dead. But after you move from it, things are a bit different, because there's a guy up on the catwalk waiting to snipe at you. He's right behind us. And my health was so low that we have to limp to cover instead of run. I mean, I guess that's kind of cheap, but I appreciate the surprise. It's been said already, but I think it bears repeating that the graphics in this game are pretty good. I mean, they don't have to render a huge area, but the areas are... Here's that guy I didn't kill earlier in the speedboat. I think if you kill him earlier, he doesn't show up here, which is why I didn't want to kill him. Anyway, they don't render a huge area, but the areas are decently large, and the last level in particular is pretty big. So as a final room, this one isn't much either. Aside from the guy in the speedboat, there's nothing in here. We just kind of run to the boat from here. And then the boat section starts. But this level overall is pretty cool. I love the catwalk section in particular.
Sonderman.
Boss, we got a problem with the factory.
Your boys are doing well. Now get them to finish the job they started, before that prick's got a chance to get out of town and set up a new operation.
Detective Crockett? You know the location of Sonderman's yacht? Listen up. I got a cousin working down at the marina, and he says he's there now.
Welcome to the second boat section. This one's slightly better, but I still don't like it very much. I'm gonna actually try to explain it though, at least. We have a gas button, and we turn... The speedboat turns on a dime, and we hold down the trigger button to fire our submachine gun, which has infinite rounds. And we blow up these boats that are of no danger to us. And in this level in particular, we also blow up meth labs. Like this. Before we get to the yacht and blow that up too. And it's boring. So I'm just gonna cut it down a bit, if that's okay with you. And by a bit, I mean we're skipping to Sonderman's yacht and blowing it up because this level is boring. But hey, at least it's short.
Thought you would want to know. Mr. Sonderman went down with his yacht. He's out of the drug business for good.
Very good. Now let's see how they handle those Colombian cocksuckers.
There's a new coke cartel pushing into the local scene. They're serious players, South American paramilitaries, backed up with heavy firepower. We have to do something before they turn Miami into a war zone.
I got a cousin who knows the scene. He can get you in there undercover. You're gonna have to be careful, man. Them Colombians, they're crazy loco.